beautiful gods and goddesses. How are you? Okay, today we're going to speak about narcissists. And some of you may have somebody who's close to you who is a narcissist. It could be your boss, your manager, your mother-in-law, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, someone who you know who is very self-centered. Okay, somebody who you know who's giving you a lot of trouble because they seem to have no emotion and compassion for the things you complain about. And in order to help you, I'd like to share with you a Greek myth. Because you see, the Greeks have thought of almost every scenario there can exist between human beings. And in order to heal these difficult scenarios, they created myths. So in this case, I want to bring up the myth of Narcissus. Narcissus was a shepherd once in ancient times who was very, very, very handsome. The only problem is that he was very full of himself and looked down upon others who even looked up at him. So he would look at them with disdain and say, oh, I know I'm great, right? So he had this attitude of not caring for others and being very egotistical. So there came a goddess, Nemesis. The goddess Nemesis is a sort of the goddess of universal justice, a kind of bookkeeping that goes on with our karma. So the goddess Nemesis says, okay, this is the shepherd, I'm going to teach him a little lesson or two. And what happened is she brought the shepherd, she guided him to a lake. And in the lake, when he leaned down, he saw his reflection. He fell in love with that reflection. He fell so passionately in love with his own reflection that he couldn't unstick from where he was. He just couldn't leave. He was mesmerized by his own reflection. And of course, this went on for a long, long time, that he couldn't get himself unstuck until the obvious happened. He died. Okay, and in his place there's a flower called Narcissus. But what does this have to do with your narcissist friend? The point is to understand that this person is suffering from narcissism. It's a disease. It's a disease which will eventually kill that person. Kill him in a physical way or in an emotional way. That is, he's on his way to emotional suicide if he hasn't already reached numbness. Because you see, the word narcissos in Greek comes from the word narki, as in narcotic. So this is a kind of addiction the person has that makes him fall into a trance where he excludes or she excludes the feelings of other people. So they're very dangerous people. They'll put you down, they'll use you, they'll abuse you physically and emotionally and mentally. So you need to deal with these people as if you're dealing with a drug addict. What do you do with a drug addict? You have to handle with care, right? It's about tough love that is going to help that person. Because even if they're your boss, the first way is to recognize that they're sick. And they're not going to recognize it. You have to know that you are dealing with a sick person. And that's going to help the way you react to their behavior. You're not going to take it so personally. You're going to understand. Now, it's another question whether you really want to stick around such a person. And it's really a question whether, you want to risk it, that you believe you can change them. And I tell you, 95% of the times, you can't change these people. They don't want to change. They're in love with themselves. It's like the addicts. They do not want to let go of their drug habit. Okay? The ones who do, just do it. They don't talk about it, they just do it. So, you have to weigh the pros and cons of hanging around a narcissist, and mainly their negatives. So my best advice would be to move on if you can. And in most cases you can, and that's a question of your own insecurity and the risks you want to take in your life. But if you have any comments or questions about this topic, please share them below, and maybe I can give an answer to them. Thank you for listening.